All right. So now our create post is ready. Now before working on home page, let's fix that UX. Right now, whenever we are opening our app, it first goes to that onboarding page. Then from there we click get started. Then it goes to login, and we need to log in again and again. So we already have auth service and everything in place. We just need to utilize that. Okay. In our MAUI application only, what we'll do, we'll utilize that. But before that, we'll see uh, when we are opening the app, is this the first run? If yes, then we'll show onboarding page. And if this is not the first run, then we'll check if we are logged in. If we are logged in, we'll go to home page directly. If we are not logged in, then we'll go to login page. This is going to be the flow. Okay. For this, what approach I am going to take? I am going to have right now what we have in app shell. We have the first page as onboarding page, which gets displayed initially when we start our app. So now we are going to create a new intermediate page. Okay, let's call it init page, and we are going to use that. And there is not going to be any UI on that. We are just going to have some logic. This checks basically. I'm going to create a .NET MAUI content page. Okay, let me show you this .NET MAUI content page C#. So do let me know in the comment if you guys know that we can have .NET MAUI content view and content pages using pure C#, no XAML at all. So we can build our UI using C# as well. Everything you see in the XAML side, all these are C#, but XAML is a this language which we use, but internally all is C#. So we can directly use C# if we want to. Let me show you this thing using C# only. We'll say init page. I'm going to name this init page. This is the page. This should be a subclass of content page. Then here if you see in constructor we have content with vertical stack layout, with children as label, and all these things. So if you see vertical stack layout, label, all the controls we use in XAML we can have in here: grade, border, horizontal stack layout, image, and all. If each and every element we can access from C#. Alright, so we'll leave it this as this default. We'll just say initializing. Although this UI we are never going to see this. In this page, what we are going to do, we are going to override on appearing event. And inside this, I'm going to have that all that logic. First thing, we are going to check if this is the first run. Okay, if yes, we'll show, or let's say go to onboarding page. If that's not the case, we'll check if we are logged in. And if yes, we'll go to the home page. If that's not the case, then we'll simply go to login page. This is going to be our flow. Okay. So in order to check first run, we have some API given by .NET MAUI, but we can also handle this using normal preferences. So here we can maybe have just preferences dot default dot. We can check for some specific key we can add here. So let's have this key here: private const string, let's say first run key. We can name it whatever if we want. Just use this first run key. So here we'll say if we don't have this key, that means this is the first run. So we need to go to onboarding page. From here we'll say await shell dot current dot go to async. And here we'll say slash slash name of onboarding page and just return from here. Don't process further. Now if that's not the case, we will check if we are logged in. So for this, we know we have our auth service which has this logged in user property which we can access. On this init page, what we are going to do, we are going to inject the auth service. Okay, let's add the underscore underscore here. Then we are going to check this thing if auth service dot is logged in. If we are logged in, we'll say await shell dot current dot go to async. This time we'll say slash slash name of home page. We'll go to home page and just return from here. If that is also not the case, we know this is not the first run and user is not logged in. So we should go to login page in this case. Alright, so this is going to be our flow. Let me remove this thing now. Now, while it will work, there are two things. We are checking this key, but we are not setting this key, first run key. So we need to set it. From where we should set it? From onboarding page. We'll go to onboarding page. Now, when we are clicking on that button that get started, then we should set that preferences here, not this. This preferences dot default dot set first run key, and the value we are not concerned about value. It could be anything because we are not checking for value. We are just checking for if this key exists. Okay. Now the first run key, this is actually here only, so we can move it to some centralized constants if we want to, but right now we can also do this, make it public, and just here we can use it using init page dot first run key, this thing. So when we'll come here on onboarding page, we'll click on that button, get started, it will set this. After that, if we open our app again, this will bypass this thing. Now we'll come here when we opens our app and we are checking this is logged in. We have this initialize method which we are not using right now, but we should use it. So when should we use it? Whenever we are starting our app, then we should use it. Now we can have it in app shell.xaml.cs. We can have it in app.xaml.cs, or we can have it here only. We can create its constructor, simple, and just call this initialize method here only. Whenever this class is being instantiated for the first time, because we have registered it as singleton. So we have registered this as singleton. So there is going to be only one instance of this class. And whenever that instance is being created, at that time we will simply initialize it. So what it will do, it will simply check for preferences, check for the key validity and that user data, try to deserialize it and just set it. And then we'll be able to use it. Alright, so in this case, we are injecting it on init page. So when it will come here, it will first initialize that and then it will continue from it. Alright, now we have this init page ready. Now we need to use this init page. Right now we have app shell where we have onboarding page. This is the first page which gets rendered. But right now what we'll do, before this, we are going to use our init page. So here we can use the same thing, shell content, title, does not matter, content template, data template. Here we are going to say init page. And for the route, we'll follow the convention we are following. The route is same as the page name. Save it. Now what would happen when we'll run our app? It will first come here, it will open this page. Now on this page, it will come here. On appearing is going to be called. We'll come here, it will check if this is the first run. If not, it will simply go to the onboarding page. And on onboarding page, when user clicks on that get started, then it will come here, set the first run key and it will go further. Go to login page and the process will follow. Now if user is opening it again, maybe without logging in, then it will again come to init page. It will come here, it will bypass this thing this time because we already have first run key. Then it will directly come to this thing. Now we'll check if we are logged in, we'll go to home page. If we are not logged in, we are going to display login page. So this is the entire flow. All right, let's now try it out. And now we don't need to run both of these at once. So we'll run our API as normal. Right click on the API, debug and start without debugging. We don't need to run it with this thing because we are not debugging API right now. Then we need to uninstall the app from the mobile to check it fresh, because then we'll see all these things. Then just start the app. So let's see if it is working the way we are expecting. I have installed the app. It should open the get started page only. Install it, that onboarding page basically. Let's wait for it to run. Okay, app is starting up. We should see onboarding page. Yes. Now if we press get started, we are on login page. Now let's restart the app. This time it should directly open login page. And it opened login page. Now let's try to add the login credentials. Okay, login. Is API running? Yes. Now if I restart it again, this time it should directly go to home page. No onboarding, no login this time. And boom. So that means this thing is working. Cool. Now we can start working on our uh, home page, actual home page. All right.